The old world of comics and why they're so important. They're important to those of us who remember them because we grew up on comics. Because for us, comics were the McGuffey's primer. They taught ethics, they taught courage, they taught right and wrong. They were about things that mattered. They talked about a world in which there were eternal verities. Comics today are pretty much like life today. They are muddy and gray and dark. You have comics with characters like Venom and the Terminator and Deathstroke, who shoot people at random and take the law into their own hands, and they're no better than the alleged criminals that they go against. And I'm not sure that those are messages that you want people to keep picking up, but it's the message that society gives. So I guess comics reflect that. But comics, when I was a kid, were my friends. Comics kept me sane. Comics. When I was interviewed by Time magazine, they said, what were your influences as a writer? And I, of course, said Antoine de Saint-Exupéry and Céline and Mark Twain, of course, and Joseph Conrad. When in truth, it was comic books and pulp magazines and movies and old-time radio. These were the things I grew up on, and they were more than pop culture to me. They were the real world. And I look back at the old comics. Now they're barely able to read them. They're awful, but there's a kind of joy in them. There's a kind of purity in them that makes you feel good. I lay my hands on them. They're touchstones for me. I still collect everything. We built a special archive in my house. Humidity controlled, temperature controlled, floor to ceiling rolling bookcases, stacked bookcases on tracks, 7 feet high, 12 feet long, one aisle. We've got, I have maybe $1 million, $2 million worth of comics in there. People come in, and they say, "Oh, you want to sell them?" I said, "No, I don't want to sell them. Why not?" So because they're my childhood, asshole. That's why not. Is that a proper answer to that question?
No, sign it upside down, please.
Sign it upside down?
Yes, please.
Why aren't any of my readers normal?
I'm not so sure about the morality and purity of some of the early comic books. I mean, I've seen some like 60s comic books, but they did some really horrible things.
When we say early, kiddo,
yeah.
I bought my first comic in 1939.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You only started in 33, so that's early.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You don't have to be sorry.
Oh, I am.
Well, don't be.
Terrible person.
Are you a humble person who is sorry? Well, you needn't be. You have done nothing wrong. You are worthy and lovable.
Thank you.
You're more than welcome. However, that tie. Yes. He's faking this, you understand. He is not really. He thinks I don't know that. See, I don't mind if you think I'm an asshole. I resent it when you talk to me as if you think I'm an asshole. Or as we used to say when I was in a doo-wop group with 3 other black guys. I mean, here we are in Philadelphia, the home of doo-wop. Thank you.
Better here than in Philadelphia.
Thank you. Philadelphia's okay. I always get in trouble in Philadelphia. I always wind up in a fist fight in Philadelphia. Always.
Sort of like other municipalities.
No, that's not true. I mean, I've never been in a fight in Houston. I've never been in a fight in Fort Worth. No, well, it wasn't a fight. It was... No, I've never actually been in a fight in Fort Worth. I was never in a fight in Topeka.
Have you ever been in Houston, Fort Worth, or Topeka?
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. No, but there's a lot of, no, there's a lot of towns I've never had any trouble in. There's a lot of towns I'm not allowed back in.
Why do you believe in the legal defense fund so much, enough to do this?
I believe in the legal defense fund. The question is so obvious. I mean, the answer is so obvious because.
I'm just trying to get it on.
I mean, I understand why you ask it, but in answering it, it's like someone saying, why do you believe in beauty and truth as opposed to lies and ugliness?
That's the next question.
Well, in fact, I do believe in lies and ugliness, and much prefer them to beauty and truth, which are evanescent and transient. I believe in the comic book legal defense fund, and think it is a wonderful thing, because it fights that which is the most evil in our society and in all societies, which is the need of some people to put their belief on you, to tell you that what you're doing is wrong in some way because it disagrees with some tunnel-visioned belief that they hold. And they will do it in the most mean-spirited, evil way of wrecking people's homes and families and businesses and careers and lives and school education. They'll put children on the streets. They will harm women who need to have... I mean, the people who bust comic book shops who you fight against with the comic book legal defense are exactly the same people who don't want women to have abortions, but also don't have the time to take care of the kids when they're born. They're the same people who say, gee, homosexuals want special treatment. Like we don't want our spleen bashed in with a guy with a ball bat. That's special treatment. Thomas Jefferson said, "I swear eternal vigilance and enmity to the forces of darkness." Against the forces of darkness, and that goes for me too. If I knew that I was going to croak in any reasonable amount of time, what I would absolutely do is I would get myself a gun and I would go to North Carolina and I would put one right between Jesse Helms' beady little eyes. That's exact. I would take that sucker out, and if I could in the bargain, take out I don't know, Schlafly and Jerry Falwell. And
you just make them martyrs.
Nah, come on, martyrs. What do you mean martyrs? What, somebody gonna put up a crucifix with Jesse Helms on it? Give me a...
I wouldn't put it past them.
Nah. They'll always find some putz like Rush Limburger, one of the great stinking cheeses of our time. Thank you. To spread that crap. They're always out there, man. They're always out there. The people who want to stop you from doing what you do are always out there, and they will get you one way or the other. And no one is safe. No one. And you look at the blacklist. People who were absolutely above reproach, and people who thought they were sacrosanct, were wiped out. They're absolutely taken out. There's none of us safe. And then all you have left is to become an absolute outlaw, which is probably a noble state in any case. Collecting becomes a madness and a sickness. I mean, I'm a collector. David Lapham just gave me the back cover for the Plasm Binder, which I've been hunting for. And now, see, this is a good book. I love to see one of my books in this condition. I love it because it's all ratty and lunched, and it means somebody read it and loved it. The Fairfax County Public Library, and this woman stole it from the library. That's okay. That's cool too. Bye.
I remember when I first met you, you advised people, steal my books. Absolutely. If you can't afford it, you'll be forgiven in, the hereafter.
Yeah.
Steal them.
Steal. I was one of the most accomplished shoplifters. I'm talking about collecting. I mean, to get us back to collecting. The first time I got busted, I was 7 years old. I was shoplifting Kellogg's comic character buttons out of Kellogg's Pep, out of an A&P, or was it a Kroger's? In a Kroger's in Painesville, Ohio. I would go in there and stand and pretend to be reading the box, push my finger in the bottom, and the button was underneath, and I would pull the button out. Well, I must have ruined 500 boxes of Kellogg's Pep. And I was 7 years old, so I didn't realize that they would finally get on to me, that they would come to, they would come and see all these boxes with the crap falling out of them, and they would say, somebody is messing up these boxes. So sure enough, after a while, they caught me, and they took me to jail. They took me to the jail in Painesville, and they called my father, and they said, we're going to scare him. I mean, there's a story in this book right here, a story in this book called Free with This Box, which is about that. And I'm 7 years old, and they put me in a cell, in a drunk tank with a bad guy. And it taught me a lot of lessons. It taught me one must not steal in a way that they can catch you. And it also told me cops are shits. And I never liked cops ever since then. So, even though a lot of my friends are cops. I mean, there's a lot of good guys I know who happen to be cops, a lot of nice women who are cops too. But I was a collector then, as I am a collector now. I got a house full of crap. A house full of crap. I mean, crap you wouldn't believe, man. I mean, I got cereal boxes. They're empty, but there's something on them, and I don't want to lose the box. I got these boxes stacked up, with a weevil still in them. I got
the buttons that you stole.
I got the buttons that I stole are mounted on velvet, man. I got them. I put extra my time. I'm entitled to those buttons. Robin Williams is a friend of mine. Robin Williams comes over to the house, and we sit on the floor and play with our GoBots. We take the Transformers, we put them together, and he cheats, but I don't care. The horrible thing, and the only horrible thing about growing older, because I like growing older. Growing older is fine. As Chevalier said, old age does not seem so bad when you consider the alternative. The only bad thing about getting older is that I'm still 7 years old. I act like a 7-year-old. I think like a 7-year-old. I pick my nose like a 7-year-old. And I'm in this body of this 59-year-old guy, almost 60. And it makes me crazy. makes me absolutely crazy because I can't jump and run and do the shit that I wanted to do that I could still do. And I look around me at other people who are adults. Now, you're how old?
43.
You're 43. You're an adult. You're a grown-up.
I'm 7 too.
Yeah, but you do adult real well.
Thanks.
You can get away with it. I mean, he acts like an adult, doesn't he? I never act like an adult. No one ever no one think I was responsible. I mean, would you leave your children with me? I wouldn't. We live in it's a manifestation of our culture. We live in a culture that reveres youth. It reveres youth because that's where the money is. Television is the most powerful force astride the land in America today. And it truckles to youth, because that's where money is spent, and that's where people who are young are easily gulled into buying crap that they don't need and shouldn't want. And so now, new, today, hip, let's, are you street smart? That's why a guy like a Rob Liefeld can make the kind of splash he makes, while Doug Wildey has to scrabble for work. They want whatever is new today. Charles Dickens said, any book you have not read is a new book. But to try and get someone to read a comic even from 2 years ago is impossible. It's a manifestation of our culture. It is a disease. In other cultures, age is revered. The older you get, the smarter you're supposed to get. The better you're supposed to be at your craft. The more knowledge you have. Here, you're fit for the junk heap. Guys come to me and they say, well, how have you been able to do it? How have you stuck by it all these years? And I said, because I'm too mean to die.
At the Diamond Conference in Atlanta this year, your quote was, we have a past now. We have a past.
Yeah. We have come from somewhere. We matter. We count. We've done things. There isn't a person of our age in America that didn't in some way get shaped by reading comic books, and we have to remember that.
I thank you for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you. Your turn.